people. So if the code is, I'm going to turn to Captain Foreman and ask if she has anything. She's going to say she's good. So that's an inside joke. But I'm incredibly grateful since leaving public service to, one of the things I enjoyed most about my time in public service was the ability to solve problems, do problem solving, and to bring incredible teams together to do that. So since leaving public service, I'm so thankful to Commissioner Carney and welcoming me and Secretary Watts. So I have a hard time calling him anything but that. Usually call him sir, and same with Mr. Little here. So I'm just incredibly grateful for the opportunity since moving over to the public side of or private side of things, that I can still have an opportunity to come alongside great people, great teams, and work to solve problems. So what they're facing is, while their circumstances are unique to them, their challenges aren't. Everyone, I believe, in this room, if we ask the question, how many of your departments are facing staffing challenges or possibly staffing crisis, would probably raise their hand. How many? We'll just make this interactive this morning. So this is definitely something that, again, I enjoy the ability to come alongside teams and work together to work problems. The last 8 months, we've worked together, again, with Commissioner Carney and her team, and it's just an incredible team with the challenges that they're facing. Almost a 43% vacancy rate with their department. So trying to do everything that they need to do to keep safe, secure facilities, make sure that the incarcerated people in their facilities are getting the programming and everything that they need for re-entry. It's just an incredible challenge. They also have external pressures with monitoring and with some agreements that put additional challenges on the staffing. So if you could go to the 2 slides. Is there? Oh, I'm sorry. And again, just to kind of echo real quick what Deputy Commissioner Buford said, they were at a really low vacancy rate in 2018. House of Corrections closed. 2019, the department begins to experience some experiences with excessive FMLA leave, and then in 2020, everybody's aware of what happened in 2020 with the COVID pandemic. 2021, their staffing levels become at a savingly high level. They have a settlement agreement in 2021 that puts some external stressors on the department. There's an arbitration award in 2022 that requires the department to implement 12-hour shifts at CFCF at one of their facilities. And then there's a silo mentality where we've all experienced that, where people in our departments have knowledge and sometimes they don't share that knowledge, and then they move on. And then you're left to kind of fill that void and reacquire that knowledge or rebuild it. And coming alongside initially with Major Siegel here to my left and Warden Patterson, we basically had to, and I'm using Major Siegel's word this morning, so he helped me out with this. We had to sit down and truly deconstruct everything that they had. So we had to look at their post plans to kind of get everything, to get this foundation rebuilt, to restart. We had to deconstruct everything that they had. So, could you go to the next slide? So then, this is kind of the current, where they are right now. They have 963 filled positions, 769 of those of officers, and this is correctional officer positions, are assigned to their facilities. They have 194 that are on outside units. They have 1,719 budgeted positions, so 756 vacant positions right now across their 4 facilities. So that's the challenge that they're facing and trying to do everything that they have to do with what they have. So again, it's been an incredible opportunity to come alongside them and work this problem together. If you could go to the next slide. So one of the first things that we looked at is they have the facility that I retired out of, we used Excel, we used paper rosters, we used paper post-plan matrix. They have a Cadillac. They have Kronos and Telestaff and UKG, and now which would be Dimensions. And we kind of joked. I said originally they treated it like a '69 Volkswagen Beetle, but I have one of those, so we're moving it to a Penta. Captain Foreman and I kind of talked about that. But so they have this outstanding system that a lot of departments don't have the ability to have. But again, you have limited staff that have the knowledge of this and maybe possibly move on to other So what we did is went in and actually looked at their rosters. We looked at how they were reporting their post closures and the reasons that they were reporting them. The old rosters just had a general coding for any of their post closures. They didn't have unique post ID numbers for their posts on it. And then the way in which the officers were assigned to the post created a lot of duplicate entries, so it made it really difficult to see what you actually had on your post at any given time, because the officers were in the pool and then they would be dropped in on the rosters daily. So again, we sat down and literally spent hours and hours kind of deconstructing this. If you go to the next one. Whoops, maybe there should be a couple, maybe 2 slides back. Yeah. Yep, thank you. Need to go back a couple, I'm sorry. This is where we are now. So now we have detailed coding for their post closures. So we're able to accurately report when their posts are closed, whether it's staff shortage, it's redirected. So we have accurate reporting now, which gives them trend lines on a weekly basis now that they're actually able to see why their posts are being closed. We also came up with a unique post ID for every post on their post plan matrix across the department. It's a 9-digit ID now, so the first 2 digits of it are their shift. The second digit is the facility. Third digit is whether it's a relieved or non-relieved post. And then the fifth, the middle digit, which we wanted it to be something that was quickly accessible. So any supervisor who's walking around on a post could immediately look at that and see the weight level. So if it's a weight level 1, that means it needs to be staffed. Absolutely has to be staffed post. So we included the unique weight level for each of the posts as the 5th digit of our post ID. And then the last 4 digits of those post IDs. Thank you, sir. The last 4 digits of the unique post ID that we created are for the job classification. So the 4000 series is for correctional officers. The other thing that happens now is, I'd say, Major Siegel, what do you think? About maybe 85, 90% Captain Foreman of these posts now are auto-populated on the rosters. So again, prior to where we're at now, they had to drop them out of a pool daily. The sergeants, they have sergeants that work in their control centers that populate these rosters. So they would have to go in on each shift and drop the officers from a pool onto the roster to finalize. Now we have it auto-populating for approximately 85% of the post assignments. So it automatically populates, and then if they do need to drop in for whatever reason, the pools are there. So we're getting much more accurate data now, especially for the reporting requirements that we have to do. We're able to give timely information to meet that requirement. And we have the detailed coding. The other thing that we really had to spend a lot of time deconstructing is their post-plan matrix. So when they went to, in October of 2022, when the department implemented the 12-hour shifts at CFCF, they had 1 average annual on-duty days that they utilized for both the 8 and 12-hour shifts. So when you do that, the average annual on-duty days is used to calculate your shift relief factor. So we had to go in and again deconstruct this and work together and figure out what a good number is for the 8 and the 12. And we deconstructed every post-plan matrix and basically just used an Excel file to build a matrix that works for the department now. It gives them a more accurate shift relief factor, whether the post is covered with 12 or 8-hour shifts. So that was one of the, so you can see up there, I have an arrow going to 190. That's the average annual on-duty days. And again, we talk about the silo mentality in our department sometimes, where people have knowledge, they leave the department, that knowledge isn't shared or passed on where those numbers are derived from. So the starting point typically for an 8-hour shift is 260 days, regular duty days, less any leave or benefit hours that you have. So that typically an 8-hour for the department would be around 214.10. For a 12-hour shift, the starting point is 182 days. They work 2 days on, 2 days off, and they have a 3-day weekend every other weekend. So the starting point for your average annual on-duty days for a 12-hour shift is 182 less any leave and benefit days. So we built their matrix. We sat down again, we deconstructed it, We spent weeks working on this together. So now that we have their post plan matrix using Excel, now automatically calculates that for them based on whether their post is a 12 or 8-hour shift, gives them the number of full-time equivalents that they need to cover the post on every post plan matrix, and gives them accurate, up-to-date budgeting information to include the weekly overtime, or the payroll overtime amounts for every payroll period. So this is a great tool moving forward. It also, if they have a post on the matrix that they disable on the rosters, they're able to incorporate that now, and it automatically adjusts and makes all the calculations that they need for the number of full-time equivalents. This is actually now a great tool for the department moving forward to determine the number of full-time equivalents that they need for each facility, and as well as good, accurate budgeting information. And a good team. Captain Foreman has an outstanding team now with staff deployment. It's just unbelievable what they've been able to do in the last several months working together. And again, this process started in several weeks spent in a conference room with Warden Patterson, Major Siegel, Deputy Commissioner Buford, and the team. Sometimes it wasn't always the most enjoyable experience, but we worked together, and we were able to, like we said, deconstruct all this. And now we've got a great foundation. We know exactly what the post plans are, what they want to cover, what the available staff are. We have rosters that are accurately reporting. Now the next phase for us as a team is going to be to work on an analysis, a true staffing analysis now, come together and work to solve that problem and help them. And as Secretary Wetzel would say, we got to optimize, because we're not going to be able to hire our way out of this crisis right now. So we got to work together and optimize what we have as a team right now and help them with the next phase of that. Again, it's been incredible teamwork. Like I said, I truly enjoyed working to solve problems, and we all face complex problems. How many of y'all, since between now and midnight last night, got an email or a phone call that something adverse happened in your facility? How many got more than one? So even though you're sitting here right now and you're trying to disconnect, you're trying to be present, enjoy this, you still can't get away from what you do. So I thank all of you for what you do on a daily basis. I'm grateful for your leadership. I'm grateful for CLA that they bring this group of people together and work to solve these problems. So thank you for what you do. With that regard, I always make sure I want to thank people in these rooms for what they do, the sacrifices, and what your family does also. And the sacrifices they make so that you can do what you do. We're looking at their policies and procedures together now. We're assessing their staffing plans, looking at current use of technology, because again, we've got to reduce the gap between the supply of staff that they have and the demand from the incarcerated people in their facilities, and not being afraid to ask for help. And again, this is an incredible team. They've always welcomed us in to help. So that's thank you.
Thank you, Derek. And as we close and ask if anyone has questions, Commissioner Carney, she always instills in us to promote and give the staff their roses. We have to give these three folks here their roses for the time and effort that they put in. Warden Patterson, Deputy Warden Siegel, and Captain Foreman, just to bring this thing together from where we were to where we are now. So thank you, team. Are there any questions for